Hey guys, this is Tom from Numbers Game Lifestyle, and today we're going to be doing a case study in which a guy is struggling with overcoming last minute resistance. Okay, and for those who don't know what last minute resistance is, it's the apprehension that women feel before they get intimate with a new man for the first time very early on, usually like the first time they meet a guy, whether it's a hookup situation or a first date or something like that, where the inner monologue that a woman will feel is, this is too early, I'm not this type of woman, I don't know him well enough, I hope he doesn't think I'm easy. All these things get played in a woman's mind before she gets intimate with a new man in these, first date hookup situations. Okay, and some women experience this more than others. Now, the way women experience this last minute resistance is different between young women with very little sexual experience and women with lots of sexual experience. They'll have very little last minute resistance in most cases, but it kind of manifests itself differently. Okay, so women that are very comfortable, have lots of sexual experience, they will, they'll be comfortable getting into bed with you, being very physical with you early on. They're very confident, very sure of themselves. But again, they will put up the front saying oh, I'm not this type of girl. I'm not feeling it. I'm not comfortable. I don't put out on the first date. Sex isn't going to happen. And all that is her protecting herself and her reputation. She doesn't want you to think that she's easy. She doesn't want you, because most men are very judgmental, and they're like, oh, okay, she hooked up with me on the first date. Must mean she's easy. Must mean her body count's super high. And, you might not consider her for a girlfriend in that case. So she's going to pretend she's going to pretend that she's a little angel that doesn't like to hook up, would never do that. Just to appease your ego, just to, convince you that, she's a good girl. And this is what experienced women do. Now, inexperienced women are going to be completely different because they have never been in a situation where sex is on the table, intimacy is on the table, and they've never been in this situation. So they will flat out tell you, I have never done this before. I don't know what I'm doing. So, manage your expectations. I'm not going to be a porn star here. These women are, very conservative, often very young, with no sexual experience at all. So they are very nervous, very unsure of themselves, because why would they be sure of themselves? It's their first time, right? Now, you treat these situations differently. You handle these women differently. Inexperienced women, it's a lot about building up their comfort levels with you. Whereas experienced women, they're already comfortable hooking up with you. They just want to make sure, that you won't think bad of them. Now, the end goal of, helping women overcome their last minute resistance is about getting them so sexually aroused that they completely forget about worrying about, oh, I don't know this guy well enough. I don't want to appear easy. All that stuff just goes out the window because they just get so turned on, so wet and wild that they're let's go. I'm horny. I want to get laid just like you. Okay. So let's have a look at how this guy goes about and the problems that he's running into with women once they're back at his place. He says, I keep struggling with LMR, last minute resistance. I had a girl over from Hinge to play pool and hang out last night. See, this is absolutely perfect. He invited her straight from Hinge to his house to play pool and hang out. Hint, hint. This is plausible deniability. This allows a woman to come straight over to your place without feeling like she's easy, without feeling like she's obligated to get intimate with you. She's just going over there to play pool and hang out. This is how you do it. I invite girls over for, I'm just about to make dinner and put on a movie. You're welcome to join me. That's how I present it, and girls take me up on it. Okay, so once they come over, they're not obligated to put out. But 99% of the time, when a woman comes from a dating app straight over to your house, she is DTF. Okay, and this woman that he invites over is definitely DTF. He just fumbles the bag in his escalation process. So let's watch what happens. When she came over, we sat on the couch and talked for a few minutes. Then we played a few games of pool, vibing, flirting, and some touch sprinkled in. Absolutely perfect. Everything's good to go. At one point, I showed her how to properly hit the ball while guiding her through it. A good excuse to get physical. Again, everything's good so far. At one point in our conversation, I made a joke about why Karens are the way they are. They suffer from GDD, good D deficiency. She laughed and agreed, which led her to mentioning that she had a friend that was asexual, which led us into talking about sex a bit more. Prior to this, she asked if I was spontaneous, and I asked her if she was as well. We talked about some things we've done in the past that were spontaneous, non-sexual things. She's giving you a hint here. She's asking you, are you spontaneous? Do you do the unexpected? She's basically saying, like, do something. I'm ready. We're playing pool here, and I'm ready for something to go down. And you're not really being that spontaneous, okay? She's giving you the hint. Okay, after we finished playing pool, we sat on the couch and started kissing. We did that on and off for a few minutes. Then I gave her a tour of my studio and led her to my bedroom afterwards. We started kissing, and I pulled her on top of me as we landed on my bed. We did this for a bit, but anytime I tried pulling her shirt off, I would get resistance. This would happen every time I tried pulling her shirt off. We would stop kissing from time to time, and nothing. I'm just going to flat out tell you that kissing does not get girls' panties wet, okay? Kissing by itself is very kind of meh. It doesn't do anything to get a woman highly aroused and ready for intimacy, okay? In fact, kissing a lot of the times does the exact opposite. It just doesn't do anything, right? When a woman kisses me, it's not like I'm totally turned on. I'm like, wow. Same thing with women. It's not going to blow her socks off that you kissed her. In fact, after a little while, it's just kind of boring. And you're like, okay, like, can we move this thing forward? And of course, he tries to like take her top off. But again, she's not aroused. In order for a girl to like want to tear off her clothes, she has to be aroused. You have to turn her on. And kissing is a terrible way, in most cases, of doing that. You're going to see that. Okay, she said that she wasn't going to do anything past kissing. Yeah, right. I told her that I wasn't going to make her do anything that she wasn't comfortable doing. She said that she wasn't uncomfortable because she was already here. Exactly. This woman is very experienced. It's not like it's her first rodeo here, okay? She's very comfortable being in your pad. She's very comfortable hooking up with you. You just have to arouse her enough for that to happen. But kissing is not doing the job, okay? So let's have a look at what he does. The whole time she was giving me bedroom eyes, and we kissed some more. Again, more kissing. It's so boring. It's just making her nether regions dry up at this point. I mentioned at one point that I felt like she was trying to seduce me with her eyes. Of course, she acted coy about it and tried to flip it on me. We kissed some more, and I got more resistance. I wonder why. Okay, maybe this whole kissing thing isn't working. Maybe it's time to progress things where women really start to get wet. Okay, I go over this in my escalation guide, but if you want to get women wet, you go between her legs. Okay, start rubbing there. Okay, get nice and close, start cuddling up, and start rubbing there. Okay, instead of all this kissing nonsense. We kissed some more and I got more resistance. She asked if I could get a rain check on us sleeping together. I asked her what was on her mind because she said she was spontaneous. She said that she was, but she wasn't when it came to having sex. Cap as hell. Exactly. She just all the sexual tension has deflated out of this interaction because all you've done is try to kiss her. And you made a half-assed attempt at taking her top off when she wasn't aroused. She wasn't ready for it. Okay, she said she would hang out at another time and asked if I was going to text her. I told her that I might or I might not, but I guess she'll have to find out for herself, and that was a two-way street. She said that she had to leave because she had to work early in the morning. Or in our text prior to her coming over, she said that she was off the following day, so I knew this was a lie. Exactly. This woman came over to get laid, and you just weren't hitting her arousal triggers. Women will most often be that their arousal trigger is, between their legs, but sometimes it can be something else. And kissing is not the way to get there. We got out of the bed and I walked her to the living room, but she was still giving me bedroom eyes as she was putting on her shoes and backpack. This is her giving you one last chance. You actually picked up on it. She's like, something still could happen. You just got to be spontaneous. You just got to pick me up and do something drastic. Don't kiss her. Okay, obviously kissing isn't going to work, but she's still giving you one last chance. Okay, I'm going to give you a story of what happened to me. Okay, normally when I bring a girl's home back to my place, the first step that I do for my escalation process is I get nice and close, start rubbing her legs, and I rub in between her legs. Okay, and what happened with this girl is she immediately got up and she's like, I just don't really feel comfortable doing this, and I think I should leave. And I'm like, okay. And we both got up the bed and I walked her to the door. And before she put on her shoes, she says, can I at least get a hug? And I hugged her. But at the same time, I could tell that she was still DTF. So what did I do? I nibbled on her neck because I was hugging her. And I felt her body immediately relax. And she let out a gasp and that was it. That was the arousal trigger. I picked her up off the ground, walked her to my bed, tossed her on the bed, and she was tearing off my clothes and I was tearing off her clothes. And yes, we quickly got laid at that point. That was her arousal trigger. That was her one last gasp. She wanted a fast escalation. She wanted something spontaneous. She wanted something not to think about. It's not a slow, gradual process. She wanted something hot and heavy that she didn't have to think about. That you just grab her and, she lets her guard down. She's like, okay, finally I can, let myself go. And that's what she was giving you here with the bedroom eyes at the door, saying you could make something happen. But no, he just tried to kiss her again. You failed the first 10 times, maybe the 11th time will work. Okay, so we kissed again and she left and said we should do this again, but she didn't see me again. It was nice to meet me. Oh, but if she didn't see me again, it was nice to meet me. Unless she texts me wanting to hang out, I'm not texting her, which I doubt she will, to be honest. Of course, she is not giving you another chance. I guarantee you that. The last 4 girls I had come over have all given me LMR, and I don't know how to overcome this. Was there a better way to handle her objections, or was this more of an escalation issue? This is definitely an escalation issue, okay? Kissing wasn't working. It doesn't work for most women. It doesn't get women's motor revved, okay? If you want to do that, you got to try something else. Okay, I have a free escalation guide. I can email it to guys if they want a play-by-play on how to do this. But usually it involves getting your hand between her legs. That's what really gets the motor revving. And, Wet and Wild, where women are stop holding themselves back. Instead, he just went ahead and just start kissing. Kissing's the way to the promised land. And no, it is not. It is all you're going to get are more stop signs, more resistance. Because you're really not getting these women aroused by doing that. All this kissing nonsense. Yes, this is a problem of escalating, right? He does the same thing with 4 different women and they all had the same problem. They're just Man, this guy's not getting my motor revved. Like, I think I'm just gonna leave because all he does is want to kiss. There's a better, more efficient way for you to help her overcome her, resistance of having intimacy with you, okay? Getting her really hot and heavy, all that resistance is gonna go out the window. Anyways, guys, that's the video. If you need help doing this, actually getting women aroused enough to want to, get laid with you despite feeling all this resistance of not knowing you well enough or it being too soon, this is just helping women overcome their own hang-ups. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Thanks for watching.